Hey, Queen. Welcome back to the Cash In on Confidence podcast. I'm so excited for today's episode because you guys know that I love me some systems. And if you are in my Soul Systems Academy, then you know that the third system within the core four, which makes up the entirety of Soul Systems, is to have a customer group, some kind of community where you are going to nurture and develop this relationship with your customers and potential team members. So I thought it would be awesome to bring in someone who knows a lot about creating these customer groups, these communities through Facebook groups. So today I am interviewing Shelley Hoffman, who is a marketing mentor for moms and the host of the Successful Networking Moms podcast. She is a wife and mom of two girls just like me. She traded in her pumps and pearls as a nationally recognized corporate advertising executive for a laptop and mom bun as an online entrepreneur and Facebook group guru. She now teaches women how to start, grow, optimize, and monetize their own online communities. Shelley is passionate about empowering fellow mompreneurs to create a personal brand and community around their social selling, network marketing, or direct sales businesses. She encourages authenticity and shows moms how to infuse joy and a sense of being a part of something more into chasing their biggest business dreams. So I am super excited to let you guys in on this chat that I had with Shelley. Without further ado, we're about to dive in. So fix that crown and take a seat on that throne. Let's do it, Queen. Hey, Queen. Welcome to the Cash In on Confidence podcast, the show for social sellers who want to make a big impact and income. We are on a mission to transform the network marketing space by challenging societal standards and industry norms. I'm Tiffany Wynn. After spending years running circles in my business, I finally ditched the grind for grace and built a multiple six-figure social selling empire. Around here, we mix faith with action to build businesses that pursue our purpose, use our gifts for glory, and align with our soul goals. If you're ready to grow against the grain and go from overwhelmed to overflowing, uncertain to unstoppable, striving to thriving, and turn that next level confidence into cash, then take a seat on that throne and fix your crown, Queen, because we're about to pray, slay, and get paid. All right, Queens, welcome back to the show. I am so excited because we have a special guest with us today. I am really pumped to hear from Shelley Hoffman, who is the host of the Successful Networking Moms podcast. She is going to be diving into all the good stuff that we love to talk about here on this show, as far as strategy for growing your network marketing business. So welcome to the show, Shelley.
Hey, Tiffany, thanks for having me. I'm so pumped as well. I love listening to your podcast, so I'm really excited to be on.
Yes, me too. So I know that you have a background in network marketing, and now you really just help and focus on helping moms who are busy and have all the things going on, really just narrowing their focus in their network marketing business. Can you just tell us a little bit about how you got started, where this idea came from, and how you are helping in that area now?
Yeah, absolutely. So narrowing focus is something that I'm really passionate about because it's what made the biggest difference for me when it came to growing an online business. So my career was actually in advertising and marketing. I did that for 10 years, and I still actually work in marketing and help clients right now. But when the pandemic hit, I kind of realized that I wanted to do something different. And so that's when I started coaching and mentoring online and helping moms with their online marketing. And what I noticed was that myself included, we were all just trying to do all the things. Like there was Instagram, and there was Reels had just come out, and TikTok, like right in the height of when I started my online business. And so I tried to do that, and like an email list, and it was super overwhelming trying to do all that. And so I really stopped and started to see where I was getting the best results, and it was from a Facebook group. And so I started working with moms in network marketing, specifically on growing a Facebook group. And that's where we were able to get traction. And I saw them really be able to step into like the CEO role where they could, create a personal brand, and then they had a platform to grow that brand, and that was their Facebook group. And so I said, you know what, we're going all in on this. And so now that's what I do. I have an online course specifically for network marketing moms to grow Facebook groups and then sell to that audience, because right now Facebook loves Facebook groups. Okay, they prioritize the content from the groups more than just like on your newsfeed. So I'm super passionate about helping other moms do that, grow their groups and grow their impact, and be able to really take their network marketing business to the next level by focusing on one thing and doing it really, really well.
I love that so much. That's so good. I know, as me being a mom in network marketing, it is very difficult to stay focused. I know one of the things that I talk about a lot is not getting distracted by the shiny objects, because when you're in these like tight knit communities with other women who are doing the exact same thing that you're doing, it's very easy to look at what everyone else is doing and feel like you need to be doing those same things too, right? So you see the top leader in your company who's like going viral on TikTok, and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to be on TikTok because that's what's going to like make me successful. Or you see someone else who's doing really well on Instagram, or you see someone who's doing it this way and that way, and you feel like you have to do it all the ways in order to be successful. And that's, something I preach to my queens a lot about too, is, you don't have to do it the same way that everyone else is doing it. You have to find your thing, find what is going to work for you, and really go all in on that thing, because that's what's going to give you the confidence. When you feel good about the strategy that you're putting into your business, that's really when the results come. So I love the thought process of just picking the thing that is working, picking the thing that makes the most sense for you. And I know for me, when I think about network marketing, there's the whole network part of it, right? Or people now call it social selling. There's the social part of it. So like if you're trying to build a business in network marketing or social selling, you really have to think about, are you creating a social space for your people? Are you creating a network? And so I think having a Facebook group where you really can do that and have that community is so awesome. So how can someone who is like, okay, I'm ready to zone in and get really focused on that one thing, and they want to do that in a Facebook group, what are some of the things that you would suggest to them? Some of the tips and ways that you're utilizing that Facebook group to help them grow their business?
Yeah, for sure. So I love one of the things you said about how a Facebook group builds community, because that's really what it is there's a difference between growing an audience and growing a community. And so what good is hundreds of thousands of followers if they're not people that are actually interested in your products or want to join your team, and they're not really like engaging with you, right? And so that's, to me, the biggest difference that a Facebook group offers, is that it's more than just an audience, it's actually a community. And so then like you don't have to do all the work, because your community members, they're all engaging with each other, and it feels like a really inclusive space. So that's what I like to focus on in a group. So as far as strategy, though, that's a great question, because a lot of moms ask me, they're like, how do I even start a group? Like, how do I find people to come into my group? Like, I feel like everyone has groups. And so I always tell them to do 4 steps. Okay. So you want to start your group, grow your group, optimize, and monetize. So to start it, really just think about like what makes you different. And a lot of times I see moms like, they know their product, they know their company, but what you really want to step into with a community and what's going to like bring people together is what you stand for. So what do you believe in? What could be your personal brand, and those are the type of people that you're going to attract into your group. So start by really thinking about that, and then interacting in other Facebook groups. you're naturally going to attract people to your group. I always say the first 500 is so important because that's really where you notice a tipping point and all of a sudden Facebook starts recommending your group. And so you want to focus on building relationships and engaging with people that are in your ideal target audience, because then when you have 500 of those people, Facebook is going to go out and find more of those same type of people, and then your group just grows from there. And then as far as optimizing, I'm all about, and I know you talk a lot about this, and I'm here for it, the systems. Like I have a very set system of how I engage in my group. Like I time block it out because it's so easy to get on Facebook and say like, okay, I'm going to be working, I'm going to be in my group. And the next thing you know, you've been scrolling for 45 minutes, right? I know I was the worst about that. And so you really want to set up your group so that you can be interacting a couple of times throughout the day, but that it also is sort of like running itself. And then just sell. It's your group. You can't be afraid to get in there and talk about, how to join your team or answer questions about your products and all, because at the end of the day, people are there for you if you have built that personal brand in that community. And so they want to hear how you can help them. Like that's the obvious next step to them. And so that's how you sell and monetize in your group. So I know that was a lot of information all at once. But yeah, I think the first place to start is to just really define like what makes you different. What are you passionate about? Who do you want to hang out with and connect with online? And then just start interacting in other groups and attracting that type of ideal audience.
I love that so much. That's so good. And I think, when I think about Facebook groups and I think about my favorite Facebook groups, they really are like very brand specific. Like there is a specific thing that group is known for. And I know that when I am needing something from that group specifically, that's where I go. And I have like, I can think of like off the top of my head, just, 3 or 4 of my favorite Facebook groups for like just different things, so like I have like a favorite group that is for moms, like a mom group that I go to when I'm like wanting to talk about mom life stuff. I have like a stay-at-home mom group that I love. And then I have like a group that's like for moms in my area and things like that. And so I think that's so awesome because I know when you are in network marketing, it's very easy because I mean, if you're going to join, most of the time people love that product that they sell and they believe in it. And they're like, they want to tell the whole world about this thing, right? They're like, everybody needs this. And so it's very easy to want to not niche down, not like brand yourself into a specific thing because you feel like you're backing yourself into a corner and limiting yourself from like all the people that could use that thing. But it's so true. When I think about Facebook groups that I love to go to, they're very specific for certain things. I can't really think of a Facebook group that I would just go to that was for a product. I'm not going to a Facebook group for face wash. Like I'm going to go to the Facebook group that is about beauty. And then I might happen to see in that beauty group where there's makeup tips and there's, skincare tips and there's different things in there that are about the stuff that I actually want to learn about. And then I just happen to see the post that's like, this face wash is the best. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I want that face wash. Like all her makeup looks great, or like, just different things like that. So I love the idea of just really zoning in and niching down as a network marketer. I think that is super important. So what would you say to the person who is like, oh, that sounds great, but like, that isn't that going to limit me? Isn't that going to like keep me from reaching as many people as I can? And then the second part of that is once they are like, okay, I'm ready to like niche down, how do they find the people to start to grow their Facebook group once they know who that person that they're looking for is?
Yeah, that's such a good point that you made about like, I'm not going to Facebook groups for products specifically. And that's one thing I say is like, if you want Facebook specifically, but any social media platform to work for you, like work with it. Don't work against it. If you know that people are on social media to interact and to build relationships, then do that first. And you're actually going to get better results. So instead of like fighting with the algorithm or like, trying to make your group be something that it's not, like just lean into what groups are made for, which is to build community and relationships and then talk about your products there. And it's just much more natural and organic, and conversations just come from there. So that was a really good point that you made. And as far as, what I would say to somebody who's scared to niche down, I hear that a lot. And that was me too in my business when I started, because I was like, I can help all kinds of people market, right? Like everyone needs to grow their business. Like I can help brick and mortar, I can help local, I can help, mompreneurs, service-based, network marketing. But I'll tell you, when I really started seeing results, and when I really was able to help more people, was when I got super specific about my message. And so I think that's what I would say to somebody who's scared to niche down is it's incredibly hard to create content and create messaging speaking to anybody and everybody. So it becomes watered down and then you sound like everybody else. And if you're in network marketing, there's a lot of other network marketers. You can't sound like everybody else. Nothing's going to make you stand out. So actually picking that niche becomes what sets you apart from everybody else. So I wouldn't be afraid to niche down. Like you're not backing yourself into a corner, but I would also say like I totally get that because I felt the same way in the beginning. But yeah, you do get better results when you niche down. And then as far as the second part of that, of like, where do you find these people? What I like to do, obviously, is interact in other Facebook groups because people are already hanging out there. So if your goal is to build your community, find people who are already interacting in communities. It's very hard to convert them from other platforms and then get them into your Facebook group. You're going to have a lot better luck finding people that are already in other Facebook groups. So just look for ones that are similar to your industry, in your niche, or when you've really thought about like what you stand for, what you believe in, the message that you want to convey. There are other people out there who are selling different things or who are in slightly different industries, but they believe the same thing. Those are the groups that you want to focus on. And I do want to make one other note because I am in a ton of Facebook groups. Okay, so I'm like in groups for kids resale clothes because I have two little girls, and so I'm like obsessed with buy, sell, trade Facebook groups. Like I'm in groups for cooking and recipes. I'm in like mom groups and all. And I meet people in all of those different groups. But when it comes to business, for the system that you want to have so that you're not spending all your time, like your work time, just scrolling through, is I would like pin 5 groups, like find 5 that are, the same vibe that you're looking for, like the same people that you're talking to, and then just be really strategic about interacting in those 5 groups often. I think that's going to get you a lot further than like trying to interact in like 10, 20, 30 groups, because I get where like it would seem like, oh, well, more groups equals more people. But if you're showing up more often, people are more likely to see the content that you're posting. So just pick like 5 groups that you're like, oh, I love this group. I love the community. There's good conversations happening here. And then just commit to interacting in those groups.
Brilliant. So good. I love this. Okay. I have one more question for you. And that is, okay, so they have built this group. They're starting to get people in here. What would you have them do next? So I know you said to optimize and monetize. What does that look like? Is there a certain number of posts that they should be posting a day? How many of them should be focused on selling? How many should be focused on, other stuff? And also, how do you get the people in that group to really engage and really like make that group their own? I think about, like I was talking about those favorite Facebook groups that I have. And one thing about those Facebook groups is I noticed that people are like just posting all day in those groups. There's always like conversations going, and it's not just the owner of the group, it's everybody is in there talking and chatting and communicating. So what are some of the things that they can do to kind of create that environment in their group, and then how do they keep that going?
Yeah, great question. So those are my favorite groups to hang out in also, because and when you first start your group, it can really feel like you're just talking to yourself. I felt like that, because I was posting like multiple times a day, and like some people would comment. Sometimes it was my mom, sometimes it was my best friend, but like the more you do it, the more people are like, okay, these are the conversations that we're having, and it comes naturally. But when it comes to optimizing, one thing that I always tell people to set up from the beginning is the questions. So when people are coming in, you have those 3 questions that they can answer. So if you make one of those questions something to do with their pain point. Like for mine, when moms are coming in, the first question is, are you in network marketing? What business are you with? Because that's good market research. Like I like to know what companies everyone's with. And then the second question is, what's your biggest question when it comes to, growing a business online? So then I know the type of content to make that people are going to be interested in and engaging with. And they're asking me these questions. So I answer those questions and I start conversations around that. And then the third question that I ask is for an email address. Now, some people won't give you an email address. So I have a freebie that they get if they give the email address that has really encouraged more people to do it. And then they're on your email list. So that's how you optimize, because an email list is gold. Like you're really going to be able to connect with people in an email list. So you always want to use your 3 questions for that. And then trying to remember, the second part of the question was about getting people to interact and create that environment. So knowing what their questions are, what their struggles are, having them answer those entry questions really helps. And I find that like topics that are somewhat polarizing, not good or bad, but just where there's an opinion one way or the other, really gets people to interact. And so I like to ask questions like, to make more money in my business, I have to work more hours, true or false? Because there's people that are like, yeah, you got to put in the time and hustle and grind to make your business work. And then you've got people going, no, I would be so burnt out. Like it's more important to work smarter. So when you ask like polarizing opinions, people like want to join the conversation. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, the algorithm, don't worry about it. It's a thing. It's real. So you want people engaging, because the more they engage, the more people are going to see the post. And then when they start to see that it's a safe place that they can interact, and you've created like this really good environment of being a welcoming space that these conversations can happen, then they're more likely to start posting. And that takes a little bit of time. You do in the beginning kind of feel like you're just talking to a wall, but if you can push past that, ask a lot of questions, always respond. If somebody even just like puts yes or no as an answer, like I always respond to them, and start conversations. That's just going to lead to them feeling safe enough to post their own posts.
I love it. So good. I know I said that was my last question, but when they're ready to start talking about actually selling in their business, what should that look like? Should they be like just outright saying like, here's what I sell, come buy this? Or is there a specific way once they've kind of built that community and they're starting to be like, okay, I have this community, I need to actually monetize it? Is there a certain way to really make those posts where they're selling just more efficient?
Yeah, the best performing post that I've seen, because this is in my group and in the moms that I've helped do their groups, are ones that start with a bit of value. So maybe like some education background, and then really pinpoint what the problem is, know like what the benefit of your product is and how it solves a problem. So if you start your post talking about the problem and then position your product as a solution, those are what I always see as most effective. They get the most interaction, they convert the best, because you've already established rapport and trust with the people in your group. So then when you make a post to them and you're saying, hey, I understand this problem, I had it, or someone I know had it, and here's the solution I found, they already trust you. And so they trust that what you're telling them is valid, that you're not just out there like posting a link to a product. You're really explaining to them how it can help. And so those posts are going to be the most effective. And as far as like how many a day, it just depends on how much time you have, but I don't think you can sell too much in a Facebook group if you're creating your sales posts with that framework in mind. Okay. Because it's your group, you're the leader, you get to decide what your group's about and how you sell in it. So don't feel like, oh, I have this great community, but like if I ever sell to them, then they're not going to want to interact. I know that's a very real fear that I had in the beginning. But if you are giving enough value and you are, positioning yourself as a resource, you really can't sell too much, but just make sure that like for every post that you're selling, like you're also giving value, and you can do it in the same post, or you can do it in other posts. You can do, all kinds of different things to facilitate that trust. But once you've built that trust, don't be afraid to sell.
That's so good. And I know I tell my team all the time that like a Facebook group, you think of it like your store. And once people have walked through the door, you can't be afraid to sell to them. If they've walked into the store, that means they have some kind of interest in what you have to offer, whether that is, whatever it is. Like if they say click to join, because I know at one point Facebook groups, you could add people and it would just automatically add them into that group, but now it's where a person has to actually say, yes, I want to be in this group. So if they're there, they said, yes, I want to be here. And so you have to be ready to service them. Like when someone walks into a brick and mortar store, I imagine like the person who's working there wouldn't just stand behind the counter and cross their fingers and hope, wish, and pray that the person would walk up to the counter and want to buy something. Like they're going to be like, hi, welcome in. Like, how can I help you? Like, here's what we have here, and like, be ready to service that customer. So it's the same kind of thought process. And so I love the idea of you just giving that permission to say like, it is okay to sell in your group once you have those people in there. Because I know that is, like you said, a real fear for a lot of people when it comes to selling. They're afraid to actually do the selling. So that's so awesome. I love it. So, all right. I know I am super excited to go optimize, monetize all the things in my Facebook group now. I know there are some queens that are listening that are like, oh my gosh, their wheels are spinning and they are ready to go do the same thing. So where can they connect with you once they're in this process and they're ready to just really take this and make this their focus, their thing? How can they connect with you? How can they get your course or work with you, or just get in and just get more Shelley?
Yeah, I would love to connect with them. So of course, our Facebook group, that's where I hang out the most. It's Successful Networking Moms. So it's exactly the same as the podcast. And then they can listen to the podcast. It's on Apple, it's on Spotify, all the different places. And then if you are really serious about growing your group and you're ready to get started, the course, the Group Growth Blueprint is available, and it's groupgrowthblueprint.com. But yeah, definitely join us over in that Facebook group. We would love to hang out with you and cheer you on.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for this incredible value that you've just given us, Shelley. I know that this is going to help so many people who are ready to stop doing all the things, getting distracted by all the shiny objects, and really just find that one thing that is going to help them take their business to the next level. So I appreciate you, and we're grateful that you stopped by.
Thank you for having me. We'll chat later.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Girlfriend, did you love that episode, or did you love that episode? Let me know. Take a screenshot, put it in your Instagram stories, and tag me at @TiffanyWen. The more that we can share the love of this podcast, the more women that we are going to help. And the more women that we help, the more women we're going to see walking around being audacious about their ambition and glowing unapologetically. Would that not be the kind of world that you want to live in? I know I do. So make sure you're subscribed to this show, and make sure you leave me a review. Come hang out with me on Instagram in between episodes, and I will chat with you again real soon. Love you.